I'm just gonna wait a few moments for at least one person to come in. And then I'm just gonna do this video like as if it's a regular video, like as if I'm not live. Wait 1 minute, and then I'm gonna start. All right, cool. One person here, that's all I need. All right, so hello, how you doing? I'm Tina Marie J. I definitely apologize. Hey, Lock on Lipstick, how you doing? I apologize. I have not been on here for like a month. I've been having major technical issues. Now I need a whole new computer. Um, so I'm going to have to start live streaming just to make sure I got content for you guys. So you guys don't think I forgot about you, okay? So this video, I really don't want to make it super long, so I do have notes. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, you can ask me towards the end just so I could get through the content that I really want to share, because it's kind of important and I want to like stay focused on track because I'm really good with getting off track because you guys know I could talk. All right, so I know that I have some new people who watch my channel. I don't really like to call you guys followers because that sounds like corny to me. But I have some new subscribers who have been emailing me and asking me about my transition from Christianity to spirituality. And so I make a lot of videos about leaving the ICOC, which was a Christian church, a cult that I was a part of. And I want to really talk more about being like a part of spirituality or like leaving Christianity and what it's like when you leave Christianity. What do you go through? How is it? How do you deal with it? It's something that is it could take a toll. It could definitely take a toll on you. It's not an easy thing to get through, and it's not something that you could just go through it and then it's just like, oh, I used to be a Christian. It depends on how long you've been a part of it. So I was a Christian basically my whole life. I grew up in Christianity. I grew up with the principles. I grew up with the rules. I know that people hate that word, but I definitely grew up with the rules of Christianity, going to Sunday school, having to read my Bible and all of these different things, what I can and can't do. And so it was a whole different life for me. Plus, my dad was a pastor, so that was a major part of my upbringing, was being a part of religion. I didn't know anything outside of Jesus Christ and the cross. That was literally all I knew. So just a quick backstory. I know I repeat it constantly on this channel, but there are people who only are here to watch spirituality videos. So basically, I was a part of a church that ended up being a cult, and I was a part of it for 7 years. Now, the way that I went from being Christian to becoming more what I consider spiritual, but I don't like labels, which I'll talk about that towards the end, is I got tired of being in the church I was in. Now, when I first left the church, my intention was never to leave religion. It was just to leave the church because it was very toxic. And it was very heavy with narcissism. And that's something I do talk about on this channel as well. So my intention, like I said, was never to even leave the church. My intention was solely to leave to leave religion. It was only to leave that church. When I left, I no longer had anyone to keep me accountable, as they will call it. I don't know if I'm looking into the camera. I apologize. First time I'm using this live stream like this. But I didn't have anyone who could keep me accountable. So I didn't have anyone to tell me what to read or what to do or what to wear. I was pretty much free. And so that freedom, if you are used to going to a church, whether you were part of a cult or not, it doesn't matter. If you were raised in a church, whether you were Christian, like for me, I was Christian, Catholic, even Muslim, any religion at all. you're so used to it. Your identity is wrapped up in it, right? So you don't know anything else. So you have to understand that you're going to go through an entire process when you do decide to leave, if you do decide to leave. And so my decision to leave wasn't something that I just woke up and said, oh, I'm going to leave Christianity. Because I wasn't being held accountable, as they would call it in the church that I attended, I was able to read and research whatever I wanted. So I started learning about different things. I didn't start off with the Bible because I went through so much religious abuse in the church I was a part of that I couldn't even pick up a Bible. I didn't even like it. Like now I can, because I can keep myself separate from it. But at the time I couldn't. It was too much of a trigger for me. So what I did was I started off researching and learning about different belief systems, different religions. And by me researching and educating myself, I learned different things that I wasn't taught when I was a part of religion. Because when you're a part of religion, especially if it's really fundamentalist, they're not going to teach you things that has nothing to do with them, because they don't want you to learn what else is out there. And the truth, the honest truth that I will tell you is that there's more out there. There's so much more out there, but you're not going to know if you remain in that box of religion. Now, before I continue, I am not trying to offend anyone who is still a part of any kind of religion, or trying to imply that you're living in a box. I'm just going off of my personal experience, and you could take from it whatever resonates, and whatever doesn't, it's fine. I'm not a guru. I'm just going off of, like I said, my personal experience. But when you learn and you teach yourself and you educate yourself, you start to open up to different things. So starting my spiritual journey, it literally just happened. It was not planned at all. You see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. It wasn't planned. I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, I'm spiritual. So the reason I say this is because I get people who send me DMs on social media and send me emails where they ask me, like, oh, how do I start my spiritual journey? And then I'm confused because I'm like, what are you talking about? Start your spiritual journey. You don't, it's not like a step-by-step process, because I think the thing is that people kind of look at it like how they look at religion. You start by going to church, and then you start doing studies, and then you start hanging out with people who believe in the same thing that you're trying to learn about. And that's not how spirituality goes. For me, it was all about oneness, and it was about me alone. So if you want to call it selfish, that's pretty much how it was. And selfishness is not always a bad thing. Sometimes you need to be selfish because you need to be about yourself. That way you can learn about yourself and you can clear out the outside noise. So the thing is that when you're a part of religion, there is a lot of outside noise. You have a lot of people telling you what to read, what to do, what to wear, where to go, who to hang out with, who to date, who to marry. And not to say that every church does this, but a lot of them do. So for me, the way it started, I transitioned from religion. When I transitioned out of religion, it was pretty much the scariest process for me. I'm trying to take myself back to that moment of how it felt when I initially first started to realize that I no longer believed. And I just remember being really scared because I was afraid, like, what is my family gonna say? People that I know who are still a part of religion, what are they going to say? I can't open up about this. And at the time, I was still doing YouTube, and I didn't even want to open up on YouTube. I did not want to speak about spirituality. To be honest, I didn't start feeling comfortable speaking about spirituality until now. It wasn't until very recent, like this year. And I'm still kind of like tiptoeing my way, but it's a part of me. And so I feel like it's important to share. So the thing is that you have to understand that you cannot expect everyone to be happy with you, because when you choose to transition out of something that you've been a part of your entire life, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say a lot of stuff. People are going to go against you. People are going to be like, oh, why did you leave? You're going to go to hell. I'm going to pray for you. Jesus loves you. You're going to hear all that. All of that. I hear it all the time. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but it could be triggering for you. So you have to really learn how to kind of like divide the truth from from what is not true. Like your reality from what you think is actually reality when it's not. There's your truth and then there's their truth. Everyone has their own truth. Everyone believes in something different. As a Christian, if you were a part of Christianity, then I'm sure that you know that Christianity is all about their religion being the one top priority. I mean, they're on top of all the other religions. So that's what really made it even more scary for me to leave. But one day I asked myself, and I was just like, what's more scarier though? Me leaving and being honest with myself about it, or me staying a part of this belief system, knowing damn well I don't even believe in this stuff anymore. So there are people who leave religion and they become atheists. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in afterlife. They don't believe in anything. And then there are people who leave and they're kind of confused. That's where I was when I had first left. I was very confused. So I considered myself agnostic because I believed in something, but I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I can't really decipher what it is. I couldn't put a pin in it. Like, okay, boom, this is what I believe in. I was in between that limbo stage, and that's something that's very normal. It's something that is common. It's something that happens. And you have to give yourself time. You have to allow yourself time to process that. So when you transition from religion to spirituality, and you're going through this scary process, you're going to deal with three different things. You're going to deal with your family, your friends, and your relationship. If you're in a romantic relationship, that could be a marriage, or that could be a regular boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. For me, it was marriage. So first, I'm going to start with family. I had to deal with, okay, I'll be honest, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't deal with family because my mom still don't know. I think my mom knows because my mom is Christian. I think she knows to an extent because she knows I don't go to church anymore. But I don't think she fully knows what I really, really do. You know, like I'm really into spiritual things. I collect crystals. I think she sees it on my desk when she comes to my house and thinks it's just decoration. I'm into oracle cards. Yes, I do read oracle cards. It's the first time I'm saying this on here. I've gotten a lot for that. I mean, I've had people on social media coming at me like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, Satan, all of that stuff. But other than that, my family, I haven't really dealt with in that way. The closest thing to it was my husband, which is relationships, which I'll talk about next. But if you do open up to your family, which eventually I might eventually talk to my mom about it if that day ever comes. But she's my mom, so I kind of assume like she knows a little because, you know, mother's intuition. But if you do deal with family, then that is difficult. But there's one thing you have to remember to do. And I'm telling you, this is very important. You got to stay true to yourself. You have to keep that at the forefront of your mind. You have to stay completely true to yourself. You cannot lie to yourself, because if you lie to yourself and you lie to others, they're going to expect you to reach a certain limit, to be at a certain threshold, to meet a certain standard, and you're not meeting it. And if you do meet it and it's fake, it's phoniness, it's going to come off funny. And you're not going to be happy because you need to be true to yourself. We are not meant to please other people. We're really not. We're not meant to lie to ourselves. We're meant to be true to ourselves. So if you decide to lie and fake the funk just to make other people happy, you're going to see you're going to be very miserable. I tried to do that in my relationship for a little while, a very short while, and it didn't work at all. It went horrible. I ended up being miserable. He was miserable. We were miserable. So I had to learn it the hard way. It's not, hey, DLS, how are you? It's not something that you should do. You definitely should not lie to yourself. Now, dealing with friends. So because of the church I was a part of, all the friends that I had were in that church. I wasn't really allowed to have friends outside, and any friends I did have on the outside, I kept them on the low. I didn't say anything. I was very quiet about it because I would have gotten discipled if I did admit to having any friends on the outside. So all my friends are on the inside, so I didn't have any friends. I didn't have to deal with that because when I left the church, people stopped talking to me. They completely shunned me, so I didn't have to deal with them. I only have one friend who I went to high school with, and I told her, and I actually told her like about maybe a year, 2 years ago, and I was scared to death. Like my hands were shaking. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to tell her, because she knew. She knows I have a YouTube channel. She's seen it, and the cat was out the bag. And I was like, crap. Like now I have to be honest. I have to be real. Like I have a YouTube channel. I can't hide this. But she's a down friend, and so because she's such a down friend, I didn't have to worry so much. Now that is the thing. People who really love you and people who are there for you and support you for who you are going to be there regardless what you believe or don't believe. If people don't support you, then I'm sorry, they don't really love you. They love the person that you were. They love the person that they want you to be. It's just like any toxic relationship. If you're in a relationship with someone and they only show love when you act a certain way, but then they see you start to change, you start to evolve, you start to grow, but they don't like your growth, they see it as something different than growth. They see it as like a journey you shouldn't be taking. Like you're messing it up for them. Like how dare you leave Christianity? We're supposed to be in this together. And this is not good. This is toxic. And so that person doesn't really care and love you unconditionally. So you will know the real from the fake. This is why I tell people that if you leave a church or a religion or a cult, and the people that you once were chilling with went there with you, or people that you hung out with that were also a part of the same belief system as you, all of a sudden they stop talking to you, let them go. Let them go and find people that basically, your own tribe. Find people that could relate with you. Find people that can understand you. That's what you want. But if you do get lucky like I did with my one best friend, then great, because that person, they're a real one right there. So friends and family, always be honest. Always be 100% honest. This is who I am. I'm sorry, I don't pray. I don't read the Bible. I don't go to church. After a while, it becomes easier to open up and say this freely. In the beginning, for me, even talking to a stranger, I felt very uncomfortable telling them I don't go to church, because if you tell someone you don't go to church, the first thing you want to know is why. Why don't you go to church? So you automatically feel like you have to give them a whole drawn out explanation, right? No, you don't. I used to do that too. I used to give a whole explanation. I used to get so much anxiety because number one, it was a trigger. I didn't want to talk about it. And number two, I just don't want to go to church. Like, why? I don't have to explain it, But at the time, I felt I did have to, so I did. So that's a mistake. You don't have to explain yourself. But like I said, as you get more accustomed to being honest with yourself and being honest with other people, it'll come out freely and easily. So like now, if someone asks me, "Oh, hey, you should come to church with me," I easily and instantly, I'm just like, "No, I don't go to church anymore." Why? Because I just don't practice the faith. Because if you think about it this way, if a person is Muslim and they ask you to go to church with them, I'm so sorry, guys, and they ask you to go to church with them, is it going to be hard for you to say, no, I don't believe in the Quran, I don't believe in what you believe in, I don't believe in Allah? No, because that's not something you grew up in. But because you grew up in Christianity, whatever is the faith that you grew up in, is going to be difficult because you feel like you owe an explanation. You feel like you're in the wrong if you don't say something, And so after a while, it became easier for me to freely say, no, I don't believe. Why? Because I just don't. And if I don't want to talk about it, I simply say, I don't want to talk about it. Thank you. I respect that that's how you feel. I respect your belief. However, I don't believe in that. That's not how I feel. It becomes easier. Now, when it comes to relationships, this one I have a lot of experience with. When it comes to relationships. So I've been married for 11 years. I spoke about my marriage and what's been going on this channel, but I keep it to a minimum because I don't like to overshare. I'm not one of those type of YouTubers. And I also want to get through my process of what I'm going through with my husband right now before I share any further. So, but I'll just share how it was which by the way, he's not even a Christian anymore, but at the time he was. So I'm just going to share how it was for me when I left Christianity. My husband left the church with me, but he didn't leave religion. he continued religion and he continued going to a whole different church. I tried going to this new church with him at the time, but it was very hard for me. It was very triggering for me. And I actually have a video where I had a whole panic attack going to a church. I recorded myself and it was very unplanned. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I felt like, let me put the camera on. I just happened to be vlogging that day because I felt it was important for people to see, like, this is a trigger. This is what happens when you go through some religious trauma. And religious trauma exists. It's a real thing and it can affect you. And I've spoken to many people that have been affected for years and years and years, have spent thousands and thousands of dollars in therapy. And this is something that you can get through. If you keep watching my channel, you'll learn how to get through it. But anyway, relationships. So my husband was not happy. He was very upset when I had left religion. He was pretty much against everything. I had to hide a lot of stuff. I had to hide my crystals. I started collecting crystals. I had to hide those. I got into oracle and tarot cards. I had to hide that. I was buying books that were speaking about laws of attraction, which, by the way, laws of attraction has nothing to do with spirituality. Laws of attraction is something that exists no matter what you do, no matter what you believe. It's just is. That's just how it is. I don't know why people think law of attraction is all about spirituality, because it's not. But I even had to hide those books too, because everything to him was evil. So he felt everything I had was evil. I was going to bring evil into the house. Everything was bad. That scared me because I was raised believing that too. I was raised believing that things that were not of God were considered evil. It was something of Satan, of the world, which, by the way, I hate that term with a passion. When people say, oh, when I was in the world or of the world, because it comes off very condescending. So I have a huge issue with that term. But that was a term that he used a lot with me. He would tell me that I'm of the world, and so we would fight. So it was constantly, every single day, a freaking argument. We couldn't have a normal conversation. I tried my best to keep it peaceful, but everything turned into a conversation about religion, about God, about Jesus, about going back to church, about going back to the Bible, and all this other stuff. So it was very difficult. So if you're married, or if you're in just any relationship with somebody, and this person is still a part of religion, there are people who the relationship breaks. A lot of relationships have broken due to the fact that one person ends up leaving the faith. And so it becomes an interfaith relationship. So if you're interested in videos like that, I actually have a whole playlist here where I do, I have videos where I share my experience and advice and tips about how to get through that, how to get through being in an interfaith marriage or interfaith relationship. It could take a huge toll on you because, again, that's the people pleasing. So when it comes to religion, there is a lot of people pleasing. You are not saying that if you're a Christian that you're doing it to be a people pleaser, but there's a lot of people pleasing involved. And so I stopped people pleasing when I had decided, not decided, but when I realized that this isn't what I want, this isn't what I believe. And I did try to give the benefit of the doubt. I promise you guys, I really did. He would have me sit there and watch videos. He would show me Bible verses. He would show me books, and none of it worked because I was just like, once you see things in a logical sense, it's hard to go back to that thinking. You know what I'm saying? And plus, when you look at how the world looks, it's kind of hard to think. My personal opinion, from where I believe, my stance right now, it's hard to believe that God has that kind of control with the world, the way the world is. It just doesn't make any freaking sense to me. Let me just say hi to you guys. Kai, how are you? Man's wisdom. Hey, Cliff, how are you doing? Yes, people pleasing is a major issue. So thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys. And this video is going to be up at the end anyway. So those of you who ended up coming in a little later on, I am doing live streaming from now on until I get a new computer because my laptop broke. So I can't edit anything, and I've been working on a major project, which I will be sharing when the time is right with you guys, which I'm super excited about. So I've been very busy. But yes, I'm going to be doing live streaming this way, and I'm doing it now. Hey, Glory. My friend is here. But anyway, so that's the thing, is that in relationships, you have to understand, like, people pleasing is a major thing, and it becomes very toxic. So not to say that your relationship is not going to work out, because sometimes your relationship can end up working out. It could work out, but it depends on the person, depends on the type of person that you're with. So I have this one guy that I coached, and he was going through some things with his relationship, and now he's going through a divorce. I had another woman that I coached, and she's on the brink of a divorce, all because they no longer believe. And it's hard for me when I talk to people like that, because I'm very blunt. I don't know how not to be very blunt, but I have to be honest and say, listen, if this person gives you divorce papers, sign it, because you want to be with someone who's going to want to be with you for you, not be with you because, oh, we both believe in the same thing, so boom, but let's get married. And that's a problem, is that in religion, a lot of times what happens is that people get married because they believe in the same thing, but they never think to themselves, like, okay, what if one of us evolves and changes and goes down a different path and a different journey, and then realizes and decides, like, you know what, I don't believe anymore. What's going to happen with us? You have to love the person. You have to know the person. So I'm going to move on, because I don't want to be on here all night with you guys. I don't want you guys on here all night. So I already said how my journey started. Basically, I started by researching, reading the Bible, which I'm not going to lie to you guys, I didn't read the whole Bible. That thing that has a lot. There's a lot in that Bible. And I tried to read as much as I could. I don't read the Bible, but I tried to read what I could. And the stuff that I did read was stuff that no one in any church ever told me to read. So this is the thing. A lot of times in Christianity, they will have you read what they want you to read. But there's a lot of other stuff in there that when you read it, you're like, oh, crap, I did not know about this. And it made me think different. And the more I read, the less that I wanted to even be a part of it, and the less I even believed in it. Not even just that, but you start to really see the thinking from that side when you are no longer a part of religion. So for instance, me being on here, having an entire channel about religion, I'm a very easy target to be trolled and, you know, to be messed with. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But I see the mindset of those people. And even though when I was a part of religion, I wasn't mean to people, but I'm not gonna lie, like, I did kind of see myself a little bit superior. I would kind of look at people and think, oh, I feel bad for them because they're not saved. Another term that I hate. We need to be saved. Hey, King, how are you? So basically, you have that mindset when you're a part of that faith, because that's what you're taught. But when you leave, everything looks so different. You start to see, especially when you start becoming a part of spirituality, you start to see things through a totally different lens. And so when I read certain comments and I see what certain people say, even if they say it out of love, and I use quotations a lot because a lot of stuff I don't be believing people be saying to me, but it, like, I can see that the heart isn't really there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just saying this because you are a Christian, because this is what you've been taught to say your whole life. So you're not using your own mind, your own thinking. And some people, yes, are genuine, but some people are not. So when you start transitioning out, you're going to start to see that more and more. That's kind of another sign that you might not go back, is because you start to notice things more and more, things that were always there that you never noticed before. That was what happened with me. So spirituality has no rules. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way to go about it. It's a personal path, and it's one that feels right for you. So people sometimes ask me, like, how do I do this whole spirituality thing? There's not a rule. Like, I don't know how to really explain it. It's how you want to do it. So I'm gonna go through a little list of things that for me was what worked for me and what I did. Meditation, nature, inspirational audios, time with self, journaling techniques, and practicing laws of attraction. So I'm going to go through them each by each. Meditation. I started meditating. I stopped praying. I don't remember what got me into meditation. I think because, like, I started learning about it and I was reading, and then I was just like, let me try this. But then I felt kind of weird about it because I have a hard time sitting still. Like, you guys see, I move my hands a lot. I can't sit still no matter what. So I thought to myself, how am I going to do this and sit still and, like, really, like, what am I supposed to be thinking about? I'm supposed to have nothing in my mind. What am I supposed to do? So one day I meditated outside in nature, and that made a difference. I can't really Meditating in my house, I could do it, but I get too distracted. Like, I gotta be outside. So I started meditating in nature and I started feeling different and I started to see certain things. And I'm not ignoring your comments, guys. I'm just trying to get through it, but I'm reading it. DLS says spirituality is so much healthier. Clip says laws of attraction is interesting. It's very interesting. I love laws of attraction. So I started meditating, and when I started meditating, I started to realize, like, I feel different. I don't know, especially in nature. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. What is this I feel? I feel something, like something is happening inside. I just don't know what it is. I started to feel kind of like a warm, fuzzy feeling. It sounds cheesy, but that's how I felt. I felt like a feeling, something inside. It was something that was coming from within, and it wasn't coming from a Bible. It wasn't coming from a church. It wasn't coming from a pastor. It wasn't coming from collecting tithes and, oh, I gotta pay you money today. It wasn't coming from any of that. It was just like everything in my life started happening differently. And that was what I did. I started meditating. Nature, like I said, being in nature, meditating in nature, but not just meditating in nature, walking in nature, hanging out in nature. Sorry, it's like a freaking fly around here. Just being out in nature makes a really big difference because we're meant to be in nature. We really are. Like, you ever notice that when you go to the park or where you go for a walk or if you go for a run or a bike ride, you just feel good. There's something about it. Can't really explain it, but it feels good. It's nice. That is how it's supposed to be because nature, it's natural. It's from the earth. So I love to be in nature. And so that made a difference in my life. Inspirational audios. I actually got into that because my best friend, who actually, I don't know if he's still in here, but he was a minute ago. He actually started sending me audios, and he actually got me into laws of attraction too. And the more I listen to these audios, and the audios I'm talking about are like motivational stuff about inspiration, like just things like that. You wake up early in the morning and you start your day off with gratitude, huge shift. You're gonna know it's a huge shift. You do it every day, every day, every day. I started doing a lot of that. And then I also did this 30-day, what do you call it? Like a 30-day positivity challenge because I used to have very negative mindset. So I started doing that. Mind you guys, at the time, as I was transitioning from religion to spirituality, I was going through a depression and anxiety. Anxiety and depression is something I've dealt with since I was very young. So I was going through that at the time. And I was noticing that meditating, being in nature, and listening to these audios was helping me tremendously. So that made a huge difference. And I'll be honest, it helped me, and it still does to this day, way more than being a part of Christianity ever has. People are going to hate that I say that, but it's the truth. Time with self. So you want to spend a lot of time with yourself. Now, before, I used to hate being by myself. I always felt like I needed to be around people. But the thing with me is I don't like being around a lot of people. I get a lot of anxiety and I just don't feel comfortable. When there's too many people around me, anywhere I go, I don't like going to a mall. I hate going to Manhattan. I hate it because it's so freaking crowded. Like, why go? So many people. I just don't like it at all. I like being around people like friends before, but that was because I didn't want to be by myself. Because when you're by yourself, you start to think, you start to analyze, you start to self-reflect. You're running away from that. Before, I was running away from that. Now, when you start to get into spirituality and start to lean more towards spirituality, you, especially with meditation and being out in nature, you're spending time with yourself, you start to like it, you start to enjoy it. So now I actually generally love it. Like, in general, I love it, but genuinely, I love it. Like, I've always kind of liked being by myself in a sense, but same time not being by myself, only because I was afraid of like overthinking, and I'm an overthinker and self-reflecting too much. And we run away from this, but we have to appreciate that. Because when you have time to be by yourself, you have time to self-reflect. You have time to think about things. You have time to analyze situations, to analyze your life, to think about where you're going in your life, to think about how you feel about yourself, to think about how you feel about the relationships you're in or the people that you're spending your time and energy with. you're forced, like spirituality forces you to learn these things about yourself. And so for me, that was very life-changing. It was extremely life-changing for me. So I started doing that and I still do it. And now I love being myself. I don't even like hanging out. Like I'll tell people, oh yeah, we'll hang out, we'll hang out. And then they'll call me, I'll be like, damn, I don't really want to hang out. And I mean, it sounds bad. I don't mind hanging out, but it's just, I don't know. I like being by myself. I like being by myself. So you learn about yourself also. You learn about yourself when you spend time by yourself. So some of the things I learned about myself was that I'm an empath, which I did not know that. I've always, I don't know if some of you guys know or don't know. But I'm an empath, and I always had showed signs of being an empath. Like, as I said before, I don't like being around too many people. I pick up on the energy. I feel uncomfortable. But that was something I had to learn about myself, because that helped me to learn who I was. And being a part of Christianity, you can't really be an empath, because as an empath, you're picking up on different things. And I'm very intuitive. I pick up on a lot of stuff. So being a part of Christianity, I would have a feeling about something and speak on it, and then I'd get reprimanded for even speaking on it or for saying anything at all. And so these are just some of the things that I learned about myself. I learned that there are things I need to fix, things I need to change. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know, I had learned there are things about my own behavior and my attitude that I didn't like. And I had to learn how to like kind of learn how to not do it anymore, which I'm still learning. You know, I'm working on it. Reading your comments. ADHD, yes. Yeah, Cliff. Yeah, no. I think I'm definitely ADHD as well. And that's very difficult. And one thing I actually learned, because I read about it, is that a lot of people who are empaths and highly intuitives and highly sensitives, which I think me and you spoke about this before, that you may be a HSP, highly sensitive. A lot of those people also have ADHD. And also could be very creative. Like, you're always daydreaming. I used to get in trouble all the time in school for daydreaming, but I don't want to get off topic. I'm sorry. You know, guys, I talk too much. Y'all know already. The other thing is journaling techniques. I love to journal. I've spoken about journaling on this channel several times before. I love, love, love to journal because I love to write. I could just do it all day long. And so journaling helps a lot. I suggest that everyone journals, even if you don't like to write. I think it's good to journal at least a couple of days a week. You don't have to do it every single day, but at least a couple of days a week. Journal how you feel. Write what you think. Write what you want to do. Write visions that you have. Where do you see yourself? That is going to help you to get from this stuck place, this depressed place, this place of anxiety and depression and grief, because you're going to go through that when you're transitioning. It's going to take you from there to a place of empowerment and clarity, and you're going to start to see things very different. And it's going to help put a lot of things into perspective. I'm not saying your life is going to be perfect, but it's definitely going to put a lot of things into perspective. It's going to make things more clear for you, if you understand what I'm saying. So journaling is very important. There are different type of journaling techniques. I could speak more on later videos about that, because right now this video is basically an overview. And the last thing I wrote was practicing laws of attraction. So I'm sorry, this fly isn't, I think it's because my light is here, so it's like it's attracted to a light. So practicing laws of attraction. Laws of attraction is, oh, I have ringing in my ear. Might be my spirit guide speaking to me. I read something about that. So laws of attraction, that is something that I highly, highly, highly believe everyone should get into. If you don't know what laws of attraction is, make sure you Google it, watch videos. I'm going to be speaking about laws of attraction. I know there are a lot of YouTubers who talk about it, and it's kind of like a trendy thing, but it's a real thing. It's something that exists. No matter what you believe in, like I said earlier, laws of attraction exist. So I started practicing laws of attraction. As I said, my best friend had introduced me to that, and I used to make jokes about it because I thought it sounded stupid. Then I started to see, like, this thing is real. It actually happens. It's all about manifesting. It's all about seeing that you can create for yourself. You can create the life you want. you can create everything. Now, this is a problem with laws of attraction and religion, or especially Christianity, because that's the background I come from personally. So they don't support it at all. If you go into a church and tell them, I can create my own reality, they're going to probably throw holy water on you, because they're going to think that you're trying to take the place of God, which means you're probably possessed and you've got Satan, the devil in you, and all this other crap. And it's not true. You actually can. I mean, you're not lying about it. You can create your own reality, but it's up to you if you want to. But not just create your own reality, you can also change your own mindset. That was something I had to work on doing, which was something that helped me with healing. Like, it helped me work on my healing when I had left Christianity. I had to work on my healing, and I still work on my healing to this day. I do feel like I'm pretty much healed from, you know, what I went through when I was in religion, and the fear that they put me through and all that stuff, and feeling like I wasn't enough for God. That was a huge thing. When I had left Christianity, I had this huge thing where I thought I wasn't enough for God. So I wasn't even going to talk about this part, but I'm just going to mention this to you guys real quick. Do you notice that when you go to church and they start doing that repetition thing where they put their arms in the air and they're like, oh God, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Those are horrible words. Never say that ever again in your life. Never. God, I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. Don't say that. God, I'm nothing, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Don't ever say that. You're literally speaking that crap into existence. So I thought that so much because I grew up from a little kid into adulthood thinking that. I heard my mom say it in church. She threw herself on the floor, started crying and, I don't know, convulsing. I seen it growing up, you know, and so like that was all I ever knew. And then the church that I was a part of, this was what they teach. This is what they teach. You know, I learned these things. And so that was something that I didn't know affected me until I left. Because then when I left, I was like, oh crap, like I really am nothing without God. I gotta go back. But I didn't want to go back. I didn't feel comfortable going back. I didn't believe. So then I thought, okay, great. So I'm just gonna be this heathen sinner who's just not gonna believe and who's gonna probably die and go to hell being nothing. And that's not true. That's not true at all. DLS says we're all worth everything. You're definitely worth something. You're worth everything. You're worth something special. You cannot listen to what churches tell you. You can't listen to what they say, because this was something that I'm really excited to talk about, not in this video, but in future videos. Learning that you're a beautiful soul, that you are more than enough, and you're more than worthy, and you are something. And being without God is not possible. Me being someone who believes in spirituality, I believe that God is everywhere. I think the word is omnipresent. I don't believe that you find God in the Bible or in the church at all, because the people that go there, they go there on a Sunday and then Monday they're cursing you out in road rage. Like, I know a lot of people who do it, but you're not really a Christian. You can go on my channel and look at under a bunch of my videos and you'll see comments from so-called Christians who are bashing me, you know, and I'm not talking about the ones who have that constructive criticism. I'm talking about people who will go in on me. It's like they're really legit angry that I have a channel about this. And I just feel like for people to get so upset, that means that you're doing something right. You're saying the truth and they don't like it. And you really got to learn about that. Like, you have to learn about laws of attraction. I'm very serious. Now, it's up to you on how deep you want to get into it. That's on you. That's your business. I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. But as far as that whole, I'm unworthy, I'm not clean, I'm not pure, I need to be saved, you're speaking that into existence, and you're going to see these things are just going to continue to happen in your life because you're speaking that. So what I started doing was I started speaking positivity into existence, and that changed my life. And that changed a lot of things for me when I had left religion and moved into spirituality. All right, I sit on that because I can talk about that all day. So something that's important to remember, labels. Labels are not important. It's important to remember that labels are not important, okay? Don't get hung up on labels. When I first started leaving Christianity, before I really considered myself spiritual or really got into spirituality like that, I was agnostic because I believed in a God, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. I just was like, I don't know. Like I believe some creator, some higher power. But who is it? What is it? I don't know. I don't even refer to God as a he or she because I don't think it has a gender. I think that personally that's ridiculous. So no offense to anyone who does. But that's just me. That doesn't mean you have to think that. Now, this is the thing about spirituality. It's your own journey. It's about you. It's about your truth. Christianity, religion, they all believe in one thing and it's all the same thing. If you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus, died on a cross, is going to come back. Probably after COVID is over, Jesus is coming back. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's what you believe. Now, when you're a part of spirituality, there's no one to tell you, oh, you're wrong. No. You can't believe in that. You have to believe in this. This is what you have to believe in. That's not how spirituality works. It's about you. So you know how they say in Christianity, it's about your personal relationship with God. I always say this on this channel. You'll never hear anyone tell you this. It's the freaking truth. That's a lie. When they tell you it's about personal relationship with God, they're lying. They're blowing smoke straight up your ass because this is something they're taught to say. Now, this is why I say that it's a lie. If it was about a personal relationship with God, why is everybody in your business? Why do you have to confess to people? Why do you have to tell people if you read the Bible, if you had your quiet time? Why do you have to get advice? You know, why do you have to have people in your face telling you you're doing wrong and what to do right? That's not personal. Now, when you leave Christianity and join spirituality, that's a real, true personal relationship with God. And the reason I say this is because I left Christianity and I met God. I personally believe God is within all of us. We all have the answers. We all have the guidance within us. People go to oracles, you know, they go to oracle readers, they go to tarot readers, they go to psychics to get answers not because they can't get it for themselves, because you guys can, but they go to those people because those people are able to dig inside. They're able to get the answers and deliver it to other people and turn it into a service. There's nothing wrong with that. Religion is totally against it. That's fine. I see nothing wrong with it. You know, again, that's just me. I know a lot of people are going to hate this, but it's the truth. But what was I saying? I totally went off. Okay. Labels. So this is the thing. This is what happens when you join spirituality. You learn about what a real, true personal relationship with God is. Now, don't expect to go tell a Christian that. If you tell a Christian, oh, I do have a personal relationship with God, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, you don't. I didn't see you in church yesterday. Oh, no, not that God of the Bible. I'm talking about like God, the real God, you know, the one that you think that doesn't exist, but actually exists, the one that, you know, that God. They're not going to know. So don't even bother because it's going to be a whole argument. But I felt that I had found God when I left religion because things in my life changed and my attitude and my thought process changed. And like I started to really love people in a different way. I've always had a genuine love for people, but it was real, like real. And that's what makes it different from the love of a Christian. Now, a Christian will tell you, Jesus loves you and I love you. I will tell them, you don't love me because you don't know me. I don't believe it. The Bible tells you, the Bible says you have to love me. That's why you're telling me you love me. But I don't believe you love me because you don't know me. It's just the truth. Now, I'm not saying that you have to know people to love them, but a lot of times they say things and it's condescending. Or they say things because it's just a robotic thing. When you become a part of spirituality, you start to see the realness. Like you start to really feel real, genuine love for people. I'm not saying everybody does. There are people who mess up and they call themselves spiritual. But in general, you start to really see people differently. You know what I'm saying? So I can say I genuinely do love all people. I don't care what you are. I would rather know the person before the faith because I feel that you are your own person before you're a faith, before you're a part of a religion, before you're a part of anything. I'm not saying there's anything wrong being Christian or being Muslim or Catholic or any of that. I think that whatever works for you, that is what should work for you. So basically, if Christianity works for you, then that's fine. If Christianity works for you and it gives you that peace, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't see it as I'm right because I'm spiritual and you're wrong because you still believe in the Bible. I don't see it that way at all. The way I see it is that's your truth and this is mine, and we can agree to disagree. Like, there's no need to fight about it. It shouldn't even be a big deal. I don't know why it has to be a big deal. I feel that everyone has a right to follow their own path and to do their own thing, and whatever feels right for you feels right. If I were to go back to Christianity today, it would be a lie. I wouldn't feel right. This is why when people tell me I should read the Bible and I should pray and all this other stuff, I'm just like, no, thank you, I'm good. Why would I do that? Because you're telling me? Because then that goes back to what we talked about earlier, people pleasing. So don't get hung up on the labels, because you're a person at the end of the day. No matter what, you're a person. Before you're a Christian, before you're spiritual, before you're Catholic, before you're Muslim, you're a person. So like I said before, I started off as agnostic. And once I began learning who I was outside of Christianity, I began to naturally lean towards spirituality. So that goes back to what I was saying before, where I get people who send me emails and they want to know if I can make a video about how to be spiritual. If you're trying to be spiritual because it's a trend, which it is a trend, it is definitely a trend. If you're trying to be spiritual for a trend, then you don't know what the hell you're doing. Just leave it alone. But if you feel like you're leaning towards spirituality because this is just something you're naturally gravitating towards because it makes you feel good and it feels right, then go for it. That is different. And most important, taking personal time for you. We already talked about that before. Personal time, very, very important. Allow yourself to sit in your emotions. Allow yourself to process what you're going through. So for me, I had to allow myself to go through the process. I had to allow myself to go through whatever I was going through. You know, when me and my husband would argue and he would get mad at me over stupid stuff, which is so stupid stuff. He would get mad at me over some stupid stuff because I didn't believe in whatever it was. I had to allow myself to go through it. It definitely sucked, but I had to stay true to myself. And there were times where I had to look at him and be like, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it. And he did. He got really upset. He got very angry. And you almost feel like, especially in a relationship, or if it's your friend or family, you're going to feel like you want to kind of lie for them just to make them feel better. If you make a YouTube channel, people are going to say stuff. You may feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have this channel. Maybe I should take it down. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Maybe I shouldn't mention this. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about the fact that I believe in this. Don't, because this is you. And one thing that I'm learning, because like I said, it's new for me. Like I've been a part of spirituality now for I think about 3 years, but me talking about it on this channel is new for me. And that just goes to show, like, it's not so easy. Like, just because, boom, I'm a part of spirituality, I'm gonna start talking about it. No, it's because I've always kind of felt like, oh, I have people here who are Christian and they're going to take it offensively and they're going to say something. And I had to get that out of my head, because you know what? There's a lot of people that won't like it, but there's a lot of people who will. There's a lot of people who won't agree and who won't see it the way you do, but then there's a lot of people who will. And so you want to always be true to yourself. It's so important. I feel like if we were to be true to ourselves in all aspects of life, not just religion and spirituality, but relationships, true to ourselves in friendships, family, what we want in our life, like our career, our goals and dreams, if we were to be true to ourselves, you know how much happier we would be as people? You know how much better this world would spin? Honestly, I think that the reason that so much goes on and people go so crazy, especially nowadays, is because people don't know how to be true to themselves. They want to lie to themselves, and they want to lie to other people about who they are and what they want. They don't know how to express. They feel like they have to fight. You know, we got the racial divide. We got all this going on. People feel like they got to fight. If you're not wearing a mask, someone got to come out and start fighting with you. Leave it alone. I mean, I get the importance of it, and that's just an example. But I feel like people feel like they always have to have an issue. Like, because we don't agree on something, we have to have a problem. When in reality, that's not the case. I think that if we just respect each other and respect each other's path and belief and respect when someone says, I don't believe anymore, there won't be a problem. You won't get stressed. I won't get stressed. I mean, I don't get stressed. I don't care. But you won't get stressed, you know? So that's how I feel about it. That's pretty much all I had to say. So if anyone has any questions or whatever, you guys can ask. I'm just going to look through your comments real quick. Oh, Jack is here. Jack is a very good artist. He draws really, really nicely. He actually drew a really cool picture of me. I should post it sometime for you guys. So he said, I like to think that God loves you no matter how much you fail and do bad things. No, I agree with you. We talked about this so many times too. I believe that God loves you. You know what? Damn, I might have to think about that. I'm not saying God doesn't love you. I don't see God. When I say God loves you, I'm not talking about it like the Christian way. Like there's a God in heaven, in the sky. I think God is within us. You love yourself, God loves you. God is within. That's just my personal belief. I don't think that God has an opinion about people like in the way that Christians like to say. Like if you're gay, oh, God doesn't like that. God doesn't care. There's no opinion. You know, that's just how I feel about it. Love is unconditional, not conditional. Yes, that's real love. Real love is 100% unconditional. And if you have conditional love for someone, then they have every right to kick you out of their life. And if someone has conditional love for you, you have every right to kick them out of your life. Because one thing that I've learned is you need to protect your own energy. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect your mind, heart, body, and soul. And that goes for family as well. That doesn't just go for friendships and relationships. It goes for family as well, especially. And people pleasing, you got to protect yourself, not to people please. So if you're not receiving unconditional love, you have every right to get that person out of your life. Because if you're holding on to that, you're holding on to toxicity. And that's only going to damage you further. And that's going to make it more difficult in the process, more difficult for you to transition in a peaceful way. As peaceful as possible, at least. People are people. Oh, I need new contacts. There are good and bad people in every religion. There's definitely good and bad people in every religion. There's good and bad people everywhere. I think that there's a lot of good, beautiful Christians. I say it all the time. I have a friend who's a pastor. He just became pastor. He got ordained, that's what they call it. And he's mad cool. I like him. If I was to go to a church, I would go to his church. I really would. His brother's also a pastor and his wife, and I know his family, and they're super cool. I would have no problem with them. I had game night with them. They're cool. You know, it just depends on the individual, and it depends on you as well. It depends on how you take it. So when you're leaving religion, you're going to be easily triggered. So you want to be careful with how you respond to people. You want to be careful with how you respond to what they say. And try to keep in mind, this person is coming from, they may be coming from a place of love. They may not have the common sense to know that what they're saying is offensive. But even if they're not coming from a place of love, you don't want to really react. You know, you want to stay in that peaceful mind frame, because they're not worth that type of energy. And that was something that I had to learn, especially being on here. You know, I just give people a smart answer, or I'm like, okay, I heart everyone's comment. But if it's very disrespectful, then I do delete. Meditation is good, yes. ICOC talks about protecting your hearts. It's just the way they go about it is toxic, yes. So ICOC does talk about protecting your heart, yet they're the ones who will be the first ones to damage it. They're extremely toxic. A lot of churches are toxic. I feel like it's kind of hard to find a really good church that's not toxic, but they are out there. Free will and being human. I'm all 100% for free will, 100%. Journaling helps you see how much you progress over time. It definitely has. I actually have journal entries that I looked back at from when I very first started this channel, when I first started getting into laws of attraction. And I was like, oh crap, like everything I wrote, I'm doing it now. So I had wrote about how I wanted to help people and all this stuff, and I was just like, wow, I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. It makes you reflect and see where your mind was then to where it is now. Like when I had first left religion, I was scared to death. I was joining all these Facebook groups. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Can someone help me to believe again? And it was just, you start going crazy because it's like, you know, if you don't naturally believe on your own, then don't even force it. Baptizing thing does nothing. Is that a question? I mean, I don't believe in baptism because why am I being baptized? I was baptized fully in water. I don't believe in it because I don't believe in what it's attributed to, which is Christianity. I personally don't believe it does anything. I think it's all a mindset thing. I think it's like, I think that we have the power to make something work. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, look, I have these crystals, right? So these are my two favorite crystals right here, right? So I have these crystals and I believe that they do something. Now, what if they don't do something? I'm basically giving the crystal, the fly, I'm giving the crystal power, right? I feel that, which I do believe that these actually do something because they're pretty natural. I believe that you have the power to make things happen. I also believe that God can work in mysterious ways. God can work in many ways. God works in religion and outside of religion. So someone can pray and be a Christian and pray for something, and then I can meditate and think positive, and I will still get a good response. I'll still get something good out of it. I'll be honest with you, manifesting and laws of attraction has worked so much more for me than prayer. This is the reason why I am, I don't want to say I'm against prayer, but I'm not a fan. Prayer is all about desperation. It's all about, now, no, let me take that back. You don't always pray out of desperation, but you know times when you want something and you're like, God, please, God, please, God, please. That's desperation. You're basically saying, I don't think this is going to work, so you need to make it work for me. Meditation or visualization, believing it's going to happen before you see it happen, is saying you believe. That to me is a true test of faith. That to me is a real leap of faith, is when you say, this is going to happen, boom, it happens. Oh, Alejandro is here. How are you? Certain sins only apply to certain members. Certain sins, I'm trying to understand what you mean. Only apply to certain, oh, you mean when you was in the church who rebel. Yeah. Yeah, I know you really went through it when you was in there. We could protect our hearts without restricting ourselves. Definitely. You don't want to restrict yourself, especially not beyond what you feel. ICOC is all about keeping you under their control. Yes, ICOC was all about keeping you under control. I mean, that's what all cults do. It's all about control, and that's why I say it's also a part of narcissism, which I spoke about on this channel before. People are scared of spirituality. Yeah, Benjamin. Some people are. I don't know why. So I don't want to talk about it now because like in another like 2 minutes I'm gonna get off of this thing. But spirituality, people don't understand what it is. So one thing that is important that you want to make sure you do is that you study and you learn before you just assume something. So I used to be so scared of oracle cards and tarot cards. I thought if I brought it in my house, by tonight I'll see a ghost in my kitchen, which I actually do think I have something in my kitchen, but that was, I think like somebody died here, but it's nothing bad. They just chill in the kitchen. But you want to make sure you study these things. Now, there are limits. There are things I don't do. There are things I won't dabble into. Like I don't do like spells and, you know, you guys probably thinking I sit here with like a big bowl and mixing something and making a spell. No, there are certain things I don't dabble with. If you want to dabble, you can, but you also want to make sure if you are entering spirituality and you are getting into things like doing oracle readings and tarot card readings and like things like that, or even if you are getting into spells, you want to make sure you do a prayer of protection. So you do a prayer of protection, and basically you pray and you ask that your aura is cleansed, and you ask that you have protection. So I always imagine kind of like a force field of protection around me, because I do believe that you can bring certain entities in. Now, the reason I don't believe there's anything wrong with these things is because psychics, there are Christians who are psychic. I've known Christians who were psychic, but they couldn't speak about it because they were considered demonic. I think that I believe that we all have intuition and we all can access something beyond, but because of religion, we're not allowed to believe that, and we're not allowed to think we could do that, because we are taught right away it's evil, don't mess with it, it's evil. Now, when I started learning about these things, like when I started learning about like intuition and all that, I'm not a psychic, but I do have dreams and I do get certain feelings and stuff like that. And sometimes I can know something before it happens, and so my mom told me, like, you've always been this way. But I was always told that that was a gift from God, that was I forget, I think the gift of prophecy or something like that. This is what they call it. This is what they call it. Like, it's just literally the same thing. But then if you're not a Christian, then it's basically called being psychic or being intuitive. I believe that we're all intuitive, but some people, like psychic mediums, for instance, they have a certain kind of access to more. And there are people who believe that you can actually gain that access. I personally don't want to have that kind of access. I don't want to see anything, but I believe that they are here with those kind of gifts to help us. I don't think it's anything evil. I think that things become evil when you use it with bad intention. So if you have good intention behind what you do, and this is with anything really, and if you have a good heart with what you do, then I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that that's okay. Now, when you go into bad intentions, you start wishing evil, or I cast a spell for evil, things like that. I don't think those things are good. Premonitions. Yeah, I've had a premonition dream before, like a couple of times. The dark arts. Yeah, I've heard people call it that before. Yeah, you can pick and choose elements of spirituality. Like, I mean, guys, like, spirituality is not like Christianity. It's not like, okay, boom, now you gotta believe in everything. That's not how it works. It doesn't go like that. You choose what you feel comfortable with. So I had someone ask me if I could do a reading for them, right? But she wanted me to contact some dead people. And I was just like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I don't speak to dead people. And she really, really wanted me to do it. But the reason why I didn't want to do it is because I believe if I do that, I could open the door. Now, the thing is, I don't know enough to be careful enough to not access, because once you open that portal, you can bring anything in. Now, just because you may have, let's say, like a spirit or something, doesn't mean they're evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean it has to be bad. I believe that there's some sort of afterlife, but I think it's kind of like a portal. But you want to be careful with what you do, because you don't want to open that door and access something that is really bad. But it also depends on you and your vibration. So, like, we'll talk more about this in other videos, but like, if your vibrations are really low, because I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube right now, people who are like, oh, I went from New Age to Jesus, and then they start talking about how they have all these horrible, scary experiences and stuff like that. If you're vibrating at a low frequency, you can attract a lot of low frequency entities. This is why if someone asks me to do a reading, if I have a low frequency, like if I had a bad day, or if I had a fight with somebody, or if I'm just in a pissed off mood, or I'm feeling very negative, depressed, anxious, any of that, I don't do it. I don't at all, because you can access something. So you do want to be careful. All right, guys. Well, I've been on here long enough. I appreciate you guys so much for coming, and I appreciate you guys for being here. I don't know what days I'm going to be doing this, so I don't have a whole schedule because my schedule is crazy, but I definitely want to do this every week, especially since I won't have to edit, at least until I get back to using a computer and editing, because like I said before, my computer's broken, so I'm working on getting another one, or getting this one fixed. But I appreciate you guys for coming, and I will definitely be posting the next time that I am having a live. I'll make sure you guys know ahead of time. So make sure you check in the community board on YouTube, where you'll see, like, I'll post like I did earlier today, or even in my Beautiful Souls Facebook group. I have in there, I'll post it in there. After this video is uploaded, I'll make sure I put everything in the description box so you guys can know how to get in contact with me. And also, if you want to join my Facebook group, DLS, nothing but humans. Yes, 100%. I agree. Thank you. I appreciate you so much for coming. I love you guys all so much. And if you have any video requests or any questions, make sure you let me know so I can make sure that I got that set up for you guys, okay? Love you guys all so much. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Stay safe.